He thought somebody was going to be around his house and, like, I guess do something, bother something.
Mickey Steins' aunt detailing his bizarre behavior in the days before he shot a judge in his chambers.
If you had to describe how he acted in one word, what would you say?
One word, he's kind of psychotic.
Could the testimony help the sheriff charged with murder get out of jail? Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. When former Letcher County Sheriff Sean Mickey Steins pulled out his service weapon and shot his friend, Judge Kevin Mullins, it shocked the people who knew both men, and it also shocked the nation. The shooting was recorded by surveillance cameras in Judge Mullins' chambers. There's no audio, but obviously there's video. This case is not a whodunit. I've told you that before. It's a why did he do it? Theories have circulated that Steins was under immense pressure and stress because he had been deposed in a civil lawsuit filed against him and his sheriff's office by a woman named Sabrina Atkins, who said one of Steins' deputies helped her get out of jail on GPS monitoring in exchange for sexual favors. There's been speculation that Judge Mullins was involved with women having sex in exchange for favorable treatment in court because Fields and Atkins had sex in Mullins' chambers. Fields pleaded guilty to felony charges of rape and sodomy and tampering with a monitoring device related to Atkins in January of 2024. Judge Mullins was never accused of any crime related to those claims when he was alive. I want to be clear about that. Mickey Steins' mental well-being at the time of the shooting has been called into question, given some of what he said following the shooting.
There's two body cams running, Mickey. It's all recorded and there's a digital recorder running. That will be, look, to show you that it's running. Look.
Come on now, guys.
No, look, Mickey. We've known each other a long time. Look, it is recording. That one's recording. Clayton has a backup recorder running.
Come on, guys.
What do you think?
Slow down.
We can't talk in the hallway of the courtauuse.
Yeah, there's people here. We don't want to.
I mean, there's people in that room. There's people in that room. We can't do that.
So what's the problem?
I'll get another one. I'll put one on me. You want to take blood, okay? But I can't be in the room.
Come on, Mickey. Come on. Is there somebody that you trust other than us that you would prefer to be with us?
Mickey, I think we've known each other our whole lives. I'm not only you I have no reason.
Come on now, guys.
Mickey, you have to go. You have to be moved. You have to be moved at some point. You have two body cams running. We're not going to be
fair. Would you have a trial?
Would you talk to us in the jail down there? Do you feel safe down there because there's cameras everywhere? Are you going to move me after the interview?
Mickey Steins has been in jail facing a murder charge in the death of his friend, Judge Mullins. He's pleaded not guilty and plans to present an insanity defense while also arguing he was experiencing an extreme emotional disturbance at the time of the shooting. Steins has been held without bail, but now his lawyers are asking that he be released on bail. And to show that he should be granted bail, the Bartleys called Steins' aunt to the stand to testify about what was going on with him the night before the shooting. Sherry Steins said she's known Mickey since he was born.
Right. Do you know Sean Mickey Steins?
Yes.
What do you call him?
I call him Bubby.
Bubby? Okay.
Yes, he's biologically my nephew, but my mother and father raised him.
Well, that was my next question. What's your relationship to him? So you're his aunt, is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Now, how close of a relationship do you have with Mickey now?
Very close.
And has it always been close?
Yes.
Okay. How much older than Mickey are you?
I'm 62. He's getting ready to be 45.
Sherry Steins and Mickey, Bubby, are tight. There's no doubt about it. So the night before he shot Judge Mullins, he showed up at her house. Aunt Sherry said he was acting really oddly.
I want to ask you about the date, September 18th of 2024. Do you recall the events of that day?
See, the sheriff was wrong, right? And you know the crazy thing though with these type of jokers is they make it like because what he did, it was like a reason. He had like something going on with him, drawed him to do this. I don't like that. You feel what I'm saying? He knew what the hell he was doing, but then they get in here and act like, you know, he was out of his mind. You know, but that doesn't go with our culture. If we do something like this, right? It's not that he was out of his mind. It's he was wrong and, you know, he's the worst kind. Nah, it should be the same thing for him too. Straight up. It should be the same exact thing. He knew exactly what he was doing. He intentionally pulled out his strap and popped the judge. Ain't no insanity and all that. Hell no. That shit there shouldn't work, man. You know what I mean? Dudes should be having to, you know, face the same shit regardless. Yeah. You know, now he got his aunt up there testifying and acting like, you know, he was going through something at the time. Of course, anybody that makes that kind of decision is going to be going through something, but that's not an excuse.
Yes, it's day stayed on that with me.
Okay. And you said that's the day he stayed on that with you. So you saw Mickey that day, is that
Yes.
right? Okay. And what time that day did you see Mickey?
It was late in the day when he came by the house. It wasn't dark, but you know, it was later in the day.
Okay. And when he showed up to your house, did you know he was going to stay the night with you?
Yes, he did.
Was it common for Mickey to spend the night with you?
No.
Why was he going to stay the night with you that night?
I think it was going to be just to let his wife and daughter rest. He had been such a nervous wreck and wouldn't sleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you said he was going to let his wife and daughter rest. Now tell me, why couldn't they rest?
Because he couldn't sleep and he was wiping the floors. And I guess he was aggravating them, you know.
Okay. Now, did you talk to his wife or his daughter about that at all?
No, not that night. He was at the house, so I tried not to get in there.
He came to your house. Had he called you before and said, I'm coming over?
I can't remember if he called and said he was coming or not, but he knew he could come anytime he wanted. It's like his second home.
Okay, so you said he came by later that evening.
Yeah.
And when he came by, did he bring anything with him?
He brought a bag, and in it he had those little tuna creations, and turned out it was like melatonin gummies and some over-the-counter Benadryl.
And did he have anything to say about why he had Benadryl or melatonin gummies?
Well, he hadn't been sleeping, and it's like he hadn't slept in 7 days and nights. And he had went to the doctor, and they had told him to take the Benadryl and the melatonin to help him rest.
When?
I'm assuming it was that day or the day before. It was.
SBGB TV live call-in show.
Good morning, Biz. What's going on? It's LG.
What's going on with you, bro?
Not much. Just wanted to chime in. If I'm not mistaken, didn't he commit the crime because the judge had did some foul play with a woman or something like that?
I don't know if that was true. I think it was speculated about that, but I don't know if that was always true. I just know that that was speculated. They saying that, you know, I guess he had some issues that day, but, you know, I'm going to see what it says here, but I'm not sure exactly.
Oh, because I was going to chime in on it, like, of course, by the state of the law, that's not right, but, like, morally, I just feel like it's two wrongs, but that's a dangerous game that they play. There definitely should be some awareness brought upon that. You know what I mean? Because them judges and them freaky people behind them badges and them gavels, they play a dirty game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they definitely play a dirty game, you know.
Yeah, and it's like you really can't even get no justice. They the ones delivering it. You know what I mean? So it's like it's a tick for tack thing. I ain't saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying, you know, like I can't really judge that man if he, you know what I'm saying? If he took advantage of some woman that he knew and he so-called lost his mind, which ain't lose his mind. He made a decision, but you know what I mean? Like I can't really be mad. Like what if that was somebody else's loved one or my loved one or your loved one? You know what I mean?
Even though if something like that did happen, I don't feel that justifies to go to that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, regardless, it's like it don't make it better whether what he was a judge or not. For somebody to go to that extent, you know, at their age, he's 45, the judge probably was 50, 60 years old. You know what I mean? Like, if it was that type of party, he did something, somebody should have just went ahead and reported. They both were cops any damn way. You know what I mean? He's an attorney, he's a cop. You know what I mean? So I don't think.
Well, what's the report? What's the report really gonna do? You know what I mean? Like it's a dirty game. Like you make the decision whether or not how you want to get your justice or whatever like that. I'm not saying you right or wrong, but it's like I know for sure. Like I don't know if I'm mentally capable enough to hear somebody did something like that to one of my, if it's true, like, and let that person be in my presence and me not do something to that man. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I just don't know if that's what the issue is.
Right,
you know
right.
I don't know if that's the issue. So if that's not the issue, that doesn't even pertain to this situation.
Yeah,
so,
if that ain't, well, let me just listen in.
So, that's what I'm saying. So I'm gonna see what it is, and it's the fact that they trying to like make it like, you know, it was insanity and shit. That's what I don't like. If this guy was black and, you know, if the situation happened like you say it could have happened, they still wouldn't be talking about insanity. So it's like when it comes to these type of people, it automatically goes to like insanity, like they had an issue. It's like a reason. So this is what I'm not feeling, that it's like justified for like a certain reason why they did it. Like, okay, well he didn't do this all these years, but now that he did something, it has to be insanity.
Yeah, because if you even look at the case of the Carmelo dude, the kid, like he can't plead insanity. You get what I'm trying to say? But so I get what you're saying. Like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. But I guess we just gotta figure out what they talking about. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna run through it and see what they say.
All right, it's a bet. I'm back in the chat, DEEZY.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you calling in.
For sure.
Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. Shout out to all y'all.
It was very close.
So he had gone pretty close in time.
Yeah.
You don't know for sure today.
Yeah. No.
Okay. And the doctor recommended to him to take melatonin and Benadryl to
Right.
try to get some sleep.
Over the counter.
Okay. And when he got to your house, what did y'all do first?
And we just basically
Blessed
sit around and
Nigel
watch
Beauty.
TV. I went in and I fixed us a little bit of supper. We ate. He didn't eat a lot.
Mickey Steins' Aunt Sherry said there was no question that something was very off with her nephew, Bubby.
And he was real fidgety, walking from one door to the next. It kept getting later, and I take oxygen at night. So I sit in my recliner at night and take my oxygen. So I give him a bed in my house. I have an extra bedroom. Told him to go lay down. He goes in, he lays down for a few minutes, and then before I know it, he's right back in the living room with me, and he's carrying a pillow. And I said, "Baby, can't you sleep?" And, no, I just can't. And he would take like melatonin and Benadryl, sit there, keep his phone in his hand. And he was watching his security cameras, watching around his house.
So he's watching the security cameras at his house.
Around his house, yeah.
At his house. Okay. And you said, let me go back to the melatonin and Benadryl. So he's taking melatonin and Benadryl. Did you take that at the same time?
Yes.
Do you know what kind of Benadryl or melatonin it was? How many milligrams, anything like that?
I don't know, but I've still got them at home in the bag he had them in.
Okay. So about how many, if you had to guess, or if you know, don't guess, if you know, how many melatonin, how many Benadryl did Mickey take that night?
I'd say about 3 to 4 Benadryl and about the same with the melatonin gummies.
And did those seem to have any effect on him at all?
No,
And so did he sleep?
no.
You said he was on his phone looking at the security cameras,
Mhm.
and he was looking at the area around his house.
Yes.
Did he have concerns about what was going on around his house?
Oh yeah, he was paranoid. He thought somebody was going to be around his house and, you know, like, I guess do something, bother something.
What was he concerned about in terms of someone being at his house?
He was worried about Lila and Caroline, his wife and daughter.
He's worried about his wife and daughter.
Yeah.
Did he say anything at all? Did you get any indication of why he would be worried about his wife and daughter?
No, but I knew he was under a lot of pressure, a lot of stress.
Did he mention that there had been any specific threats to him?
Nothing specific, but I just, you know, you could tell the way he acted, it was bad. Bad. He was horrified. He was scared to death.
Steins' Aunt Sherry said her nephew's odd behavior continued throughout the night.
Okay, so you said you were up all night with him.
Yes.
And at any point, did he go anywhere?
No, but he did try to get me. The daughter my mother adopted a child, and at the time she had been at the doctor's office, had a headache, passed out, done MRI, she was in the bed. Well, Mickey at one point tried to get me to ride up by his house just to check around his house and make sure it was all right, and he wanted me to leave her in the bed. Anybody that knows Mickey would have never suggested you leave a junior in high school in the bed by itself when it's dark outside to go check around somebody's house.
He wanted you to go with him to check on his house.
Yes, his home.
Had there
Yeah.
been something that made him want to go out there?
There was a guy walking down the back street behind his house, and you could see his legs. And he was just walking down the alleyway, but it was enough to freak him out.
What did he think was going to happen, if you know?
Just my opinion, I think he thought they was going to like circle around by his house.
And do what?
I don't know.
He said he was concerned about Caroline and Lila.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it about Caroline and Lila? Did he mention anything specific to them, what he was afraid of?
He was just afraid somebody was going to hurt him.
Aunt Sherry said the way her nephew was acting was definitely not the Mickey Stein she knew.
You familiar with his normal behavior?
Yeah.
What's Mickey like normally?
He's a jokester. He likes to laugh, play. He helps people a lot. He's a good guy. Hyperactive. He goes out and does stuff without you having to beg him to do it, you know, or ask him. If he sees you need help, he'll help you.
Was his behavior that night consistent with his normal behavior?
No.
Then, the next day, the day that Mickey Stein shot Judge Mullins, Sherry Stein said she got a FaceTime call from Mickey right before the shooting.
And is that about the correct time that you recall him FaceTime? On that FaceTime call, what did Mickey say?
Well, like I said, my mother and daddy raised him, so he had a name for my mother. He called her Mommy Bones.
Mommy Bones?
Mommy Bones.
Okay.
And he called me and he said, Sherry, and I said, well, he said, let me speak to Bones. That's what he called Mommy.
Did you let him speak to Bones?
She'd been dead 2.5 years. And I said, what? And he said, let me speak to Bones. I said, Bubby, where you at? Are you at the office? He said, why don't we call you back? I got a bad connection. I said, well, okay, call me back. He said, love you, bye. And that's the last time I talked to him.
That's the last time you talked to him.
That's the last time I talked to him.
Did you find that call concerning?
Yes.
Well,
He asked for my mother twice. He was with me when I had to put my mother from the ventilator. So he knew she was gone. It was me and him together had to unplug it. So he knew she was gone.
Again, has Mickey ever acted this way in the past?
No.
Did you eventually find out what happened at the courthouse that day?
Yeah.
When did you find out?
It took about until I found out for sure about half an hour.
What was your reaction to that news?
My knees got kind of weak and my mouth fell open and I cried my eyes out.
Is that something that you could ever imagine that Mickey would do?
Never in a million years would I have ever thought that Mickey would even discharge his gun, let alone do something like that.
Steins' family will take him in if he is granted bail. Meanwhile, the prosecutors for the Commonwealth of Kentucky oppose Mickey Steins' request for bail, and they question Sherry Steins' actions the day that Judge Mullins was shot.
The next morning when you got this phone call, you didn't call anybody. You didn't call anybody at the sheriff's department, did you? And say, hey, something's wrong with Mickey. Is he there?
No.
Did you? And you didn't call his wife that day either, did you? And say, Mickey's not acting right. You asked about bones. Is something going on? Mickey didn't call her either, did you?
No. When he called and asked for my mother,
Yes, ma'am.
that was right before it happened. So I didn't have time to call
I
anybody.
think you said you had 30 minutes before you realized what had happened. See, in that 30-minute window before you realized what happened, you didn't call anybody, did you?
It had already happened.
Right, but you didn't know that.
No.
Okay, so you never called anybody between that
Sure
time and
didn't.
the time you found out.
No.
And you've spoken very highly of Mr. Steins, but my understanding is that he's concerned for his wife and daughter. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And he left them at home alone. What's your answer? Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't stay in the driveway. I mean, they were upset because he's walking around and keeping them up. He didn't go to the driveway and step in the car, did he?
I don't know if he did that or not.
He left and went to your house, correct?
Yeah, he did come to my house, but I don't know what he did before that.
Okay. And what time did you say he showed up at your house?
I don't know exactly. I didn't think it was going to be important at the time, so at the time I didn't notice.
So to talk a little bit more about this testimony, I want to bring in Mickey Steins' defense team, Jeremy and Carrie Bartley of Bartley Law. Thanks so much. It's been a while since we've talked. First of all, I'd like to ask both of you, and Carrie, I know you handled Aunt Sherry's testimony. How do you think this is going to play with the Judge Coron? Do you think that maybe Aunt Sherry's testimony is going to show that Mickey maybe is undergoing some treatment, is getting some medication in jail, and he'll be able to behave well out on bond?
You know, we're hopeful that the judge will see it the way that we see it and have heard the evidence and will set a reasonable bond. We can never guess what a judge is going to do. But I do think that the testimony from Mickey's Aunt Sherry really showed us, and to back up, the Commonwealth's burden is to put on proof that this is not a bailable offense if they do not want him out on bond. I think we overcame that with Aunt Sherry's testimony just by seeing that Mickey was operating in some sort of altered mental state. And at this point, we don't know exactly what that looks like, but we do know that from Aunt Sherry's testimony.
Man, forget the altered mental state. He made a decision. Yeah, that was a decision he made for whatever reason. Like, come on now. They trying to like make an excuse for it. Ain't no excuse for that.
Testimony, he was paranoid, he was having delusions, he was having sleepless nights, he was in fear for his family, and you know, her testimony, she didn't know exactly what was going on, but she did say that Mickey had seen a doctor for those issues earlier that day, and it's something he'd been dealing with. So we're hopeful that the judge will see it from that perspective and find that Mickey is in fact entitled to bail, that this is not a capital offense, and set a reasonable bond for him.
You know, Jeremy, I know that when we've talked in the past, you had confirmed that Mickey, at the time that he shot Judge Mullins, which is not in question here, was in fear that his wife and daughter had been taken. Can you give us any more information at this time about why he felt that way?
Well, I think one of the first things that I want to make a distinction pretty clear. So when I say this is not a whodunit, I think that really that's a misnomer in some ways, because we know that the body of Mickey Steins in the physical form was certainly on a video and certainly firing a weapon. The question is not the body. The question in this case is the mind. And we think that based upon a lot of different evidence that we won't comment on directly today, we will only comment on what you've seen as it's illustrated through Aunt Sherry's testimony, since that is a matter of public record. But the issue is not, was that the body of Mickey Steins? The question is, what was within the mind of Mickey Stein? And I think that that's the question that will have to be answered ultimately in this case. Now, we have made no secret that we believe that Mr. Steins was under the belief that his wife and daughter were in danger. If you review the body cam footage that I believe I've seen on your reporting, as well as many other outlets, I'm not sure how you couldn't see that real fear in his eyes and his mannerisms. And there's videos prior to.
I just can't go for that, man. Like, it's crazy that this goes like this, though. Yeah, I can't go for that. You know, damn, I can look into his eyes and see, man, listen, dude made a decision. For whatever reason, he made the decision. Yeah, so you can't say, oh, he was under stress. And, like, hold up, man. Like, nah, I ain't going for that.
The shooting that provide a backdrop and show that same fear that Aunt Sherry described. And so, while we know that the body of Mickey Steins is on the video, and we know that that shooting occurred at the hands of Mickey Steins, we don't think that Mickey Steins' mind and soul committed this crime. And again, his mind is what we're trying to determine whether he's responsible for that or not. And we think Aunt Sherry's testimony is just a small glimpse into the overwhelming evidence that will demonstrate that Mickey was not acting within his own ability to understand and appreciate the nature of his actions, or to control and conform his actions, which will be the standard that will be discussed at trial. As to any of the rulings that are pending for the court, we don't want to comment on what may happen with the judge, or speculate, or what may be ruled upon. And regardless of what the ruling is, we will certainly respect it and remain steadfast in our defense.
I want to go back to what Aunt Sherry was talking about. I mean, she said that Mickey had gone to the doctor. Obviously, he knew something was not right. He hadn't slept for a week. He was given melatonin and Benadryl. Carrie, have you guys been able to find out? I mean, was he misdiagnosed? I mean, he was told, oh, you can't sleep, melatonin and Benadryl, but was there something going on that was, was there some type of mental episode going on? We've read in other documents that there was indeed, according to some jail staff who assessed him and some other people, that they believed there was something very wrong mentally with him at the time.
We absolutely believe that there was something going on with Mickey for the days and weeks leading up to this incident. He went to the doctor to have his sleeplessness, to have those issues addressed. It seems that he was accompanied by some members of his staff there when he went to the doctor, and they actually went into the examination room with him. So I think that as a public official and with the stigma that surrounds mental health still, especially in areas like Eastern Kentucky, I think it would be difficult for anyone, particularly a public official, to
SBGB TV live call-in show.
Shit, man, just woke up and shit, man. I'm watching what you got on and shit, man. Like, they sound like a sex ring, like they was hot, like the feds was on their trail. That was an inside job. You know, I think that's the only way that's why they trying to work with them so hard and try to say, hey, man, this is going to be the plan. This was going to go on. It was a hit job. I think it was a hit job. You know, because I'm pretty sure that judge ain't the big wig because it's a judge union too. So they got their own squad and they got their own little freak parties and shit. And he probably was the weakest link. He probably was going to tell on all of them who was involved in that shit. So, yeah, I think they needed somebody to get real close to him. The closest person that can get to him, ain't nobody getting in that damn courtroom or around the judge unless it's the sheriff. Them the only people that can have a gun that can actually touch but, oh, yeah. Yeah, they got up on him. That's the only way they can get up on him. But I already know, like, shit. That's why they trying to get him free or whatever, get him a real light sentence, you know. But yeah, though.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, that's something to think about, brother.
Hell yeah. That definitely was an inside job. But like shit, but they need to investigate that shit for sure. You know what I'm saying? If they gonna do some real investigation and shit instead of trying to make this fool look like he crazy. I mean, if you gonna make him look like he crazy, I mean, they need to put out all the little. I mean, they ain't gonna put it on the mainstream. Well, they did put it on the news. I mean, they kept mentioning like, hey man, they was trafficking women. They was in the middle of trafficking women, and hell, even the sheriff was in the middle of trafficking his daughter, and that's probably what he didn't want to admit. Like he was probably trafficking his daughter. So yeah, it can go down like that. I mean, shit, they did it to a lot of their kids. A lot of people do it to their kids. So yeah.
Okay, appreciate you calling in, brother.
Hell yeah.
Smash that like button and hit that subscribe button. Shout out to all y'all that rock with the channel.
Potentially be completely transparent about everything that, you know, was going on with him at the time. So with the sleeplessness, it seems that the doctor recommended that he take melatonin and Benadryl and try to get some sleep. But what we know from Aunt Sherry's testimony is that these issues had been going on long before he took the melatonin and Benadryl that evening. And in fact, it seems that the melatonin and Benadryl, she testified that he had taken several of each over the course of the evening, and it didn't even touch what was going on with Mickey. He was still unable to sleep.
So bizarre.
I think that's really important, though. This is a really important aspect that's not talked about, is the stigma surrounding mental health and the reluctance of particularly men to seek mental health treatment. And that's something that is even more acute. Carrie and I both grew up in Eastern Kentucky, and we know that the stigma of mental health issues is so real. And we understand that the mental health defense and insanity defense is something that the general public is just really starting to wrap an understanding around. But it's very real. And this case not only speaks to how physicians, how law enforcement, how people in general struggle not only to identify issues with themselves, but with others and those around them, because you can see and will see from the witnesses that everybody agrees. If you look at the civil complaint filed in the wrongful death case, the estate of Mullins itself alleges that everyone basically knew something was going on, but no one did something, but they did do something. What else do you do other than demand he go see a physician? Now, I agree that was there a diagnosis that was missed the day prior to the shooting? Sure. I also believe that I'm not making excuses or anything else for the physician that saw him, but it's difficult in a 15-minute interview to ascertain, especially when there's other people in the room and you're a public official, like Carrie said, to get a full picture. But I think everybody that came in contact with Nikki in at least 7 days prior, maybe a little bit longer, agrees that he was in a crisis, a mental health crisis. But, we've only in the last decade started to really get serious about understanding mental health and its impact. And that's a bias that we will have to face all throughout this trial, no matter where we have the trial, is we are on the very beginning stages of understanding the intersection between mental health and the law and responsibility. However, I will say that we believe this is potentially the most well-documented prior history between videos, between medical officials that saw Mr. Steins. We believe it's one of the most well-documented cases of a mental disease in action.
Yeah, it's definitely something going on, because they just definitely keep talking about this mental health. Yeah. But I don't think that shit should be that way. I think just like anybody else, he should stay in trial and suffer the consequences, because he already did it and everybody knows he did it. So, he can't beat it. So now they coming with that at a different angle, trying to manipulate the system.